Tech stocks are still ripping higher today. Nvidia, Microsoft, Broadcom, these are all fresh record highs. But Deirdre Bosa has a new deep dive on an overlooked problem with the latest wave of AI models, which has powered much of the recent rally. Deirdre, what can you tell us?
So, Kelly, the next frontier in AI, it's not just chatting or summarizing, it's reasoning. And that means thinking through problems, making decisions, even taking action. Now, for example, turn on GPT-03, and you can see the model think step by step before answering. So it feels smart because you're watching it lay out a plan, not just spit out a response. It's what powers all the buzz around AI agents and this vision that machines could eventually match human intelligence. That's known as AGI. But here's the catch. A growing body of research says these models don't actually understand past a certain point. They stimulate reasoning. And when they're pushed beyond simple tasks, many of the models, they simply fall apart. And that matters because Wall Street is betting big that smarter AI means more demand for chips, more infrastructure, more upside for the entire AI trade, like we're seeing today and this week. But if models, they can't actually deliver real productivity, well, that investment could turn into a money pit. Now, this isn't just theory, Kelly. It is driving Meta's hiring spree. In fact, its latest poach from OpenAI is a prominent researcher to work specifically on reasoning models. It's also behind NVIDIA's trillion-dollar vision for physical AI. It's driving the stakes behind Microsoft's partnership with OpenAI and could determine who owns the future of AI. Kelly, this may be one of the most important, also maybe one of the most overlooked risks in AI right now, not too dissimilar to what we saw late last year when sort of the pre-training models hit a wall and everyone reconsidered what the trade was worth.
But this isn't necessarily something I'd experience. I'm using it as like a glorified Google, or again, there might be, nutritional tracking throughout the day. That's not reasoning, is it?
You can turn on reasoning. It may not be the most efficient, but I mean, the best way to think about reasoning is when you actually have to use brain power and think through logical puzzles. So these models, they do really well on benchmarks, right, in math and coding. But the whole idea behind reasoning is that these models think more like a human being. And that's how you get to artificial general intelligence, which is the holy grail here, which is what Zuckerberg, Altman, what everyone is racing and working towards. And what these studies show is that these reasoning models break down past a certain point. And yet, all of these mega cap tech companies, all of these leaders, all of these VCs are throwing a ton of money at reasoning models.
Yeah.
Maybe the proof isn't there quite yet.
But I know that what they're trying to do is basically allow AI to go execute tasks for you, right? So artificial general intelligence can basically mean, hey, go buy me my train ticket to DC for the next Fed meeting and book a hotel and line up such and such. And if it can't really handle, and I'm probably not even using a sophisticated enough example, but the point being, if it can't really handle executing that task, well, then the business model for kind of the next phase of AI really comes into question.
Bingo. And I would just make one clarification. That's agents, right? And you need that step to get to AGI, where the intelligence is actually smarter than human beings. But yes, the whole premise of agents relies on this idea that models can reason and that they can generalize. And that's what we found when we looked into this with these research papers, is that that is actually sort of a shortcoming, not proven yet. And you can catch, the full breakdown. We go into this with logical examples too, like Towers of Hanoi and Simple Checkers game. You can catch that. It's called the multi-billion-dollar blind spot in AI. It's on CNBC.com and on YouTube.
Did you say Towers of Hanoi?
Yes, I did. We've got a great animation that breaks that down. Do you play?
Is that a game?
It is a game. You might have actually seen it for your kids, Kelly.
Okay.
It's kind of like a logical puzzle that even they do for kids. And it turns out the reasoning models break down when it gets too complicated.
All right. Deirdre, thank you very much.